Let's go live here.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. What?
Nothing. I'm mumbling.
It's my fault.
Okay, thank you.
I was mentioning we look short on staff.
Yes, we are tonight. We're definitely too shy, maybe three. Okay, please listen to the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And there's the opening statement according to the agenda. Can you please call the roll, Mr. Hallenbach?
Mr. Falcone is absent. Mr. DiStefano.
Present.
Dr. Capello.
Present.
Mr. Citrich is absent. Ms. Goulan is absent. Mr. Chaffee.
Here.
Mr. Francis.
Yes, here.
Ms. Polachina is absent. Ms. Falcone Schubert.
Here. Can I please have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Okay.
I'm in favor.
Mr. Falcone is absent. Mr. DiStefano.
Yes.
Dr. Capello.
Yes.
Mr. Citrich is absent. Ms. Goulan is absent. Mr. Chaffee.
Yes.
Mr. Francis.
Yes.
Ms. Polachina is absent. Ms. Falcone Schubert.
Yes.
All right, and we will convene in executive session.
Mammoth Cave State Park, National Park is right.
All right, and we are going to
Nice.
resume. We are back live.
Hi, everybody. Can I please have a motion to reconvene?
Move it.
I'll second.
I'm in favor.
And let me get a roll call here real quick. Mr. Falcone,
Present.
Mr. DiStefano,
Present.
Dr. Capello,
Present.
Mr. Citrich is absent. Ms. Goulan,
Yes.
Mr. Chaffee,
Present.
Mr. Francis,
Present.
Ms. Polachina is online. And Ms. Polachina, are you with us this evening? Yep, there she is. Perfect, thank you. And Ms. Falcone Schubert.
Yes. Can I please have a motion to approve the October minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, please call the roll.
On the motion 6A, 6B, the October minutes. Mr. Falcone,
Yes.
Mr. DiStefano,
Yes.
Dr. Capello, Mr. Citrich is absent. Ms. Goulan,
Yes.
Mr. Chaffee,
Yes.
Mr. Francis,
I believe I have to abstain.
That's true.
Ms. Polachina, how do you vote on the minutes? Thank you. And Ms. Falcone Schubert?
Yes. Okay, next, we will move on to the superintendent report and the HIB report.
All right. This evening, I'm going to turn over my presentation time to Mr. Matt Robinson, our Assistant Superintendent. He's going to have an opportunity to go ahead and present our NJSLA testing report. There is a copy for each of the board members underneath your packets, and for the public in the audience and the public at home, a copy of this presentation will be on our website tomorrow morning, so that you can review that information as we make sure that the laptop boots up here for him. And there we go.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Hallenbeck and Board of Ed members. We're here tonight. I'm going to be discussing our NJSLA results from the spring of 2024, as well as our dynamic learning map results. So let's get to it. So just a brief primer on the NJSLA. It stands for New Jersey Student Learning Assessment. It's a statewide assessment program for New Jersey public schools. It's given in every New Jersey public school across the state. Measures proficiency in ELA, math, and science. Science is assessed in grades 5, 8, and 11. It's aligned with the NJSLS, New Jersey Student Learning Standards, and it replaced the PARCC assessments in 2019. The NJSLA uses 5 performance levels. One would be not yet meeting expectations. That would be the lowest tier, ranging all the way to exceeding expectations. And levels 4 and 5 indicate grade level proficiency. And for our high schoolers' graduation readiness. Purpose and benefits of the NJSLA, it's one data point that we utilize across everything that our students do in order to ascertain their academic development, and we're able to take this data and utilize it in order to make identify areas of improvement in our curriculum. It informs our educators about individual student needs, so they have some information about their kids before they have their kids in their class, which is a good thing. And it assists us in measuring our school and district performance. And again, it's administered annually in grades 3 through 9 for ELA and math, 5, 8, and 11 for science. It's a computer-based test with accommodations available. In some rare cases, students do a paper-based test. Results are reported to schools, districts, and families. You should have gotten a letter from me in September with your test results and the data used for state accountability measures and school improvement planning. Why is this important? Well, it helps us review district-wide performance trends. We can use our data to inform policy decisions and resource allocation to different schools or grade levels based upon how they're performing, supports initiatives to improve student achievement, and helps us ensure our alignment between our curriculum, instruction, and the assessments that we give. So what we have here is a table of our ELA performance for the 23-24 school year. What I've done is I've circled and drawn some lines here, but it'll make sense in a moment. So this is how the grades individually performed, and what I've circled is our overall performance. So what you see to the left, the 29.1%, that was our percent of students who met or exceeded the expectation across the district in school year 22-23 versus 31.9% in 23-24. So that's a 2.8% improvement overall. So that shows growth, and that's a good thing. We're always looking for growth across the board. This is a breakdown of how each grade level performed across those different performance levels that I mentioned earlier. So we can see for ELA, we have a lot of yellow. In some cases, the yellow surpasses the students who met or exceeded. And to me, that's the low-hanging fruit. Those are the students that we really need to focus on in order to propel them forward so that they can meet or exceed standards next year. So I see that as a positive because I know that we have students that are right on the cusp and they're ready to take that next step. And we can hone in on them and focus on them. What I've done here is I've compared our level 1 and 2 for 2 different school years, the prior school year and the school year that we are talking about tonight. So in red, quite simply, red is not good and green is good. So we saw a slide back in our grade 3 performance. They went down 20.2% in grades 4, in levels 4 and 5, and they gained 19.2 in levels 1 and 2. It's worth noting that these students were in kindergarten during the first full COVID year, and they were in and out of school. They had that hybrid environment, so they really didn't get that full kindergarten experience, and we're working to catch them up. Some positives in the data here is we gained 21.6% meeting and exceeding in grade 4, and 12.1% meeting and exceeding in grade 6, with a subtraction of 10.9% in that level 1 and 2, which means those kids are moving out of those lower tiers, perhaps into that mid tier, and maybe even increasing performance. And then we see over there overall the 2.7% increase. This is a longitudinal look at how we performed historically. So you can see the light purple is 2018-19. We go all the way to 23-24, and we see how we've performed historically. And I have a little bit of a breakdown on that on the next slide. Key takeaways from the data: the percentage of students who met or exceeded expectations increased by double digits in grades 4 and 6. Grades 5, 8, and 9 also showed growth, while grades 3 and 7 experienced declines in performance. Grades 4 and 9 have now surpassed their pre-COVID performance levels, while all the other grade levels are still recovering. So I saw that as a positive in the data, that not only have we recovered in those grades, we're actually exceeding how we were performing previously. So I'm going to look for that to grow in other grade levels in success. Their performance as a whole grew by roughly 3 percentage points last year, 9 points away from pre-COVID levels overall. What I'd like to do when I do these presentations is I'm not only going to give you the data, the numbers, but I'm also going to tell you what we're going to be doing about it and things that we've already done. So, of course, we're continuing to work on the board goals of decreasing chronic absenteeism, increasing teacher literacy. So what we've done in terms of chronic absenteeism, believe it or not, we already have students who have 9 or more absences for the year. So we've reached out to those families. We're conferring with them on a one-to-one basis to ensure that we're trying to get kids to school. Because if you're not in school, you're not learning, plain and simple. As far as teacher data literacy is concerned, on October 14th, we did a big PD day with our new benchmarking platform, Linkit, where the presenter really dove in and showed our teachers how to manipulate the data and use it to their advantage as they plan their lessons. We've also taken our staff meetings and turned them into data talks. And what we're doing for that is we're taking a look most recently at NJSLA performance descriptors, looking at each one for each standard, how we perform versus how the standard performed. And we're really trying to hone in on the areas that are weakest so that we can focus on a bit more performance in those areas. One other thing that we're going to work to do is develop a district-wide RTI protocol. We have RTI here, but it exists in different variations across the buildings. One thing I think that makes sense for our district is to bring that across the board, ensure that the schools are communicating with one another. What have you done at this grade level? What can we do in middle to high school, Tulsa to middle, so on and so forth. We're going to have a universal tier 1 checklist that teachers fill out. If they feel a student is falling behind, they're going to fill out this checklist, and it's going to lead them toward providing some interventions for their students before they're actually referred to RTI. So the onus goes back onto the classroom teacher, and the classroom teacher is tasked with working with that student and trying to intervene within the classroom environment before they're referred to tier 2 or tier 3 RTI. And we're also going to work to develop universal RTI plans, both academic and behavioral RTI plans. Other things we'd like to focus on is explore opportunities to further individualize support to address learning gaps. One thing that we are doing, again, kind of a mixed bag, is what I call win time, what I need now, right? So what we'd like to do is reserve a half an hour a day for students in grades 1 through 7, or K through 7, where they're going to actually receive intervention in the areas that they need it. So the school day, in my mind, will kind of stop, and each student will be working individually, whether they need remediation or whether they need enrichment. And perhaps they're going to G&T at that time or something of that nature, or they're visiting another teacher or another teacher pushing in to provide them with that one-to-one assistance that they need. I am working with the principals on working to schedule that, and hopefully it bears fruit and we're able to move forward. I also would like to see teacher availability for student assistance built into the school day in grades 8 through 12 at the high school. We'll see how that goes. I also want to better leverage and explore our blended learning platforms. Right now, students are probably familiar with the IXL platform. And I know you use that in math and ELA, in some cases your Spanish classes as well. And that's great, but I want to explore whether or not it's the most effective platform that we can utilize, or if there's something better out there that better suits our needs. So we'll be looking into that. And finally, we're going to look at reading benchmarking platforms for middle and high school. We don't want reading benchmarking just to stop in 3rd grade and we never address students again. We want to make sure that at grade level. So we're going to look into it.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Is that focus in middle school, or that's
That would be, we do have focus at the middle school, and it's a model that I like and I'd like to better leverage, but I'd also like other teachers available during that time, or students to be able to, like, let's say I'm struggling in math, but my focus teacher is an ELA teacher. I'd like the math teacher available as well and be able to rotate with flexibility.
I like that.
Have our students be able to do that.
Thank you.
So here's our math data. Again, I've done a similar model to what I did for ELA. Simply for 22-23, we're at 23.8% proficient, and last year we were at 22.8%. That's a slide of 1 percentage point back. Again, this is our how each level performed. A lot of yellow there as well, but I also see the red creeping above the yellow in some cases, which means that we really need to commit to some intervention strategies for those learners who are really struggling.
Your strong grade 8 students are in here.
The good news, we slid back 1%, but we had a third grade who slid back 17%, okay? And they grew 10% in that level 1 and 2. So that tells me overall the remainder of the grade levels, and if you take a look at the data there, we had some good growth in grade 4. We had some decent growth in geometry, and we're relatively static across the other grade levels. So we do have that anomaly in the data, which I do think made us slide back. So moving forward, I'm hoping that we're able to intervene with those third graders and boost their performance, thus increasing overall performance. This is a longitudinal look again at the data for math. So you see there how we performed year over year. So again, key takeaways from this data: grade 4 and algebra 1 and grade 8 showed strong growth, while grade 8 math and geometry showed some modest improvement. All other grade levels showed very modest declines in performance, except for grade 3, which again saw that 17 percentage point drop. Grade 4 and geometry have recovered and surpassed pre-COVID performance, which again is a good thing. And like I mentioned, overall performance decreased by 1 percentage point over the prior year.
Are we missing data on algebra 2? Or are we just missing the data?
Not tested, right? Algebra 2 is not tested.
Algebra 2
Weren't-
shows
they weren't
0
tested.
for what year?
There's no testing in,
The
It's an optional
requirement
test.
for mathematics only requires high school students to take one math test during their high school career. So predominantly, they're taking the algebra 1 test. In this case, all of them, with a few geometries.
algebra 2 is an optional, right?
Yes.
We should put more incentives around it though.
So
It's a-
our action plan for math looks pretty much similar to the ELA because there are things that translate across both subject areas,
I never knew.
with a few exceptions. So if you look toward the bottom there, I want, especially at the middle and high school levels, to evaluate our current math resources, and I want to take a look at them for alignment with the current standards, especially given the fact that we had new standards in 2023. I do know that we're utilizing some texts that are relatively dated, especially in grades 6 and 7, which may be affecting our performance. So that's something that I'm certainly going to be looking at via committee. And I'll make a recommendation to the board by probably during the regular meeting in January in terms of where we should go with that. I'd like to expand mathematics instruction time at the primary and intermediate levels. In some cases, they're getting significantly less math instructional time than they are literacy. And of course, we know we want to focus on literacy at the primary and intermediate level, but not at the cost of math minutes. So it's something I'm going to be, again, working with the principals to try to get into their schedules and see if we can increase that time. And we need to explore PD opportunities for math teachers with a focus on differentiated Tier 1 instruction. We don't want to be just teaching down the middle to our students and just delivering the content and not differentiating it. We need to find ways, whether it's via station rotation or other models, to try to make sure that we're differentiating instruction for every child and not just delivering the lesson, doing the independent work and calling it a day and moving to the next lesson. So that's, again, something that we're going to be working on. Here's our performance in science. Science is an interesting one because it's very cohort dependent because you're only teaching in grades 5, 8, and 11. So we did slide back to 14.6% passing as opposed to 18% in the prior year. There's our breakdown. We see that grade 11 was really the outlier there where their performance decreased by 14%. This is your longitudinal data. You see it's relatively static except for grade 11 last year. You know, they're 30 versus their 16 this year, and then the 18 versus 15. I've already mentioned those, so we'll move on to an action plan for science. We've already implemented science benchmarks for Lincoln in grades 5, 8, and 11, and we'd like to try to expand that to grades 2 through 11 that next year. And the reasoning for that is really just going to be to make sure that students are acquiring the information they need in science, and we'll be able to build successive data year over year in order to make sure that they know what they need to know. Another thing, and I've talked with Mrs. Martinez about this, is a potential realignment of science high school offerings to ensure students have been exposed to the 3 domains of science that are tested before that grade 11 test. Oftentimes we'll have a kid who takes science freshman and sophomore year and doesn't take their other science until senior year. That's okay because you only need 3 years of science to graduate high school, but for the purposes of this test, you only know 2/3 of the information. So that's something to really look into. I think we need to dive into the curriculum a bit for science and make sure it's aligned to grade level expectations for a possible revision. And we need to evaluate, again, current instructional resources and have possible shifts moving forward. So I'll make sure I have those discussions with staff as well. That's everything for the NJSLA. Right now, I'm just going to briefly go into dynamic learning maps. It's a computer-based assessment for students with significant cognitive disabilities. That means a child who is unable to access the content on the NJSLA because of the cognitive disability takes the DLM. It's administered in grades 3 through 8 and high school for ELA and math, and grades 5, 8 in high school for science. The report provides results related to a student's overall performance level for the subject. The 4 performance levels are emerging, approaching, target, and advanced. And the report also summarizes results and gives an individualized snapshot of each student, which is really helpful for your special education teachers in terms of what they need to work on with their individual students. And then finally, this is how we performed. We had 60% of our ELA students emerging, 30% approaching, and 10% at the target, and 50% emerging, 30% approaching, and 20% at the target. And due to the fact that the science assessment is only given in grades 5, 8 in high school, I can't report out on those students because they're less than 10, and it's going to be, I would violate student confidentiality. I don't want to do that. So that's a rundown of our NJSLA and DLM data. And now if the board or anyone in the audience has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Is it possible that some of the data might differ depending on how many students have been added to that grade level if they came from out of town too?
Yeah, I do, and I can share that with you. I do have a cohort mobility report that I can share with you. What I can say is that overall it hasn't skewed the data that much because those numbers are so small.
Okay.
But I do have that, and I can certainly share that with you.
What's your expectation for next year?
What's my expectation for next year in terms of growth?
Yeah.
That we will see growth. Can't put a number on it, but I will be reporting out on our benchmarking throughout the course of the year. We've already taken our Form A assessment. That was our baseline assessment. We have another one in mid to late January. We'll collect all that data. We'll compare how students did on Form A to Form B. And we'll report on that for the board, and we should have some rough data in terms of how they predicted we're going to perform on the NJSLA.
Any major changes you expect to make over the next year as far as, you mentioned curriculum, I'm sure that.
Yeah, so, we've already fully revised the ELA and math curriculum, which is being implemented this year. So it's my hope that if that is being implemented with fidelity, that we will see score increases because it's aligned to state standards fully now. I do think that a big part of what we're seeing has to do with the instructional resources we're leveraging, perhaps some teaching strategies that we're using. And that's, I think the next piece is really not teaching teachers how to teach, but making sure they know the most up-to-date teaching strategies for math instruction.
Okay.
And by doing that, I think that we'll we'll see growth.
Is this third grade, is that the one that has like the larger class sizes that we were talking about? Like, remember there was a group of kids? Yeah, so.
Yeah, so second and third grade class sizes are larger than we would like. That's an area that we'll try to address in budget development for next year. That's also the group that we're seeing come through either from kindergarten with COVID or pre-K with COVID. So it's going to be interesting, probably isn't the right word, but it's going to be interesting to track those students over time to see how different their academic growth and progress is compared to students who maybe had been enrolled in school for a year or two prior to COVID hitting. And you see that in grade 4 and grade 11. Some of those groups have recovered from COVID learning loss pretty well. We'll continue to try and target some of those other students in other grade levels with some of our interventions. The tough part is as we've talked, that learning loss funding that was available for the federal government, that money is all gone, right? The federal government, all of those funding streams have ended. So that puts the onus back on us as a local school district to fund those programs. There is no additional money forthcoming from the state. I don't anticipate there'll be additional money from the state this next budget year because just like we lost the federal money in our budget, the state lost the federal funding in their budget as well. Initial indications from the state are they're facing a budget shortfall of somewhere between 2 and 3 billion with a B dollars in their state budget. So that'll be interesting to see how we progress through that as well.
Thank you. Matt, I don't know, were you able to compare other districts? Did they find the same thing with those kids, the kindergartners?
I haven't done a full analysis
I
on,
mean, I would assume it's
these
probably
scores aren't
very
public
similar.
yet either. Once they're made public and I'm able to dive into how each and every district performed, I can report out on that as well.
I know I was given a similar packet.
Yeah.
And it looked very similar.
Similar, yeah, I'm assuming. I mean, happens everywhere.
I know, it's just our town.
Thanks, Matt.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Matt, I appreciate it.
That was excellent.
Second part of superintendent's report for this evening is the HIB presentation. And we have some HIB reports that are a second reading and then some new ones for this month. Make sure I get my right folder. So on second reading, as the board discussed in the executive session, we had 3 HIB reports that were filed. One of them was a confirmed HIB, no change from the first reading, and 2 HIB complaints that were filed that were determined not to be HIBs. They were code of conduct violations, no changes from the first reading for those. And then for the month of November, we have 3 HIB complaints that were filed in the district. 2 of which were confirmed to be HIBs on first reading, and 1 of which was neither a code of conduct or a HIB as we move forward. The November HIB allegations will be before you during our December meeting on second reading. So this evening, with a motion to approve here in a moment, you'll approve both Mr. Robinson's testing presentation and our HIB reports for first and second reading for the month of November. Is there any questions or discussions about the presentation or HIB reports for the month?
I should abstain from the HIB report because I feel like I missed that. Is
You
that,
certainly can.
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, can I please have a motion to approve 7A and B?
Move it. Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Falcone?
Yes.
Mr. DiStefano?
Yes.
Dr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Citrich is absent. Ms. Goulan?
I'm going to sustain from the HIB report.
Mr. Chaffee?
Yes.
Mr. Francis?
Yes.
Ms. Polachina? Thank you. Yes. And Ms. Falcone Schubert?
Yes. Okay, we will move on to all the good news under acknowledgement and correspondence.
Do I have all these?
Absolutely. So congratulations to our high school students who made honor roll and high honor roll for the first marking period. Also, congratulations to our middle school students who made high honor roll and honor roll for the first marking period. It's kind of hard to believe that a marking period has gone by already and Thanksgiving is just around the corner. So congratulations to all of those students. And my congratulations and my thanks to you, Kyle, for sitting through all of that this evening. And so I want to acknowledge our students of the month, students of the marking period for their outstanding performance. I know I have Kyle Farrar with us this evening. Kyle is in 8th grade, so I am going to embarrass you by bringing you up here, and we want to get a photo. We want to recognize you. Yeah. Would you mind taking a photo for me? Gotta come right down in front, Kyle. And then we got to get all of the family up here afterwards too, because they got to get in this photo, right? So look right there. Hopefully I don't break the camera. Wait to our left. And we're going to come back to our right. And then we got to get the entire family up here. Come on, let's go.
Either.
Why aren't I surprised?
What better way to do it?
Wide angle.
I have to spend money to get them to come hug me.
Nice big smile for everybody. One more back here. Thank you very much. Congratulations for all your hard work. Very proud of you. We are not going to make you guys stay for the entire meeting. You are more than welcome to head home this evening. Thank you. Have a wonderful holiday. Thank you.
Actually do that.
Yeah, especially before a report like that. Yeah.
All right, and I want to acknowledge our other students this evening in 8th grade honorable mention. Angelina Orfawa, Owen Kester, Jacob Galone, and Tara McKenna. In grade 9, we have Joseph T.J. Seck. Honorable mention is Jacob Leos and Reagan Gravatt. In grade 10, we have Olivia Buckley and Carolina Tisnados. Honorable mention is Sarah Jalerski, Tony Lynn Alfredo, Merlin Valdez Reyes. In grade 11, honorable mention to Jonathan Cortez, Justin Okendo, Saya LeBron, Samantha, oh boy, Karananigan, and Jacob Appel. And in grade 12, Megan Hyzinski. Honorable mention is Layla Gonzalez and Amelie Saito. Congratulations to all of those students, and my apologies if I have mispronounced anyone's names. I appreciate all of our students' hard work, and it is so great to be able to acknowledge them. Also want to congratulate the following students who were chosen as middle school students of the month for their outstanding performance. I know they already got their certificates at the middle school earlier. For October, grade 7 is Riley Stewart and Xavier Valentin and Bryce Irizarry. And in grade 6 is Alexa Emblem. Grade 5 is Carlos Chimborazo. And in grade 4 is Alicia Galvez. So again, congratulations to all of our students who are demonstrating outstanding academic performance in our schools. You continue to make us proud, and I really appreciate all of your efforts and hard work.
Thank you. Do we have any parent-teacher organization representatives here? Oh, yay. Lovely.
Juan Hepto and the PTSO. I normally can't come because our Girl Scout troop meets at this time. But Hepto has been really busy. I know Nicole's been keeping up to date on the PTSO. Hepto, we did a breakfast, a welcome back breakfast for the teachers. We did our book fair. Hepto donated over 300 books to the schools. Teachers pick out the books and we buy it for them. We have our holiday boutique coming up. We did a dance and we fulfilled, I'm going to say probably about $2,500 in grants for teachers so far this year. And we have lots of fun stuff coming up. We also did an ice cream social. We have several activities planned for the rest of the year. And the PTSO, our next meeting is December 11th. And we are working on the Tricky Tray, and we need donations and volunteers, so that's it.
Thank you. The PTSO and Hepto actually came together and they purchased these really pretty banners that are gonna go up all throughout the district with our logo, like the ones that you see in town on the lamppost. So we're excited to get those up. I have to get them
And
out of my
fresh,
garage
I love it.
over to the school.
Yeah, as you look around the school district, we have some of the banners out in front of the high school. They're showing their age. So my thanks to Hepto and the PTSO and all of our organizations who support our classroom teachers, who support our students, whether it's ice cream socials, whether it's the dances, those opportunities. And certainly, I know the value working with the PTSOs as a former building principal, and the donations that you make and the grants that you make to our classroom teachers and our students is invaluable. And so that upcoming meeting on December 11th, we'll make sure we send out all of that information. Tricky Tray is a huge fundraiser for our organizations. So if there are businesses out there and organizations that want to donate, that want to sponsor, that want to be part of these endeavors, we'll set you up with the contact information so that they can reach out to all of you. And thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate it.
Have our high school representative speak now?
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Okay. So we'll have, hold on.
I have a few things.
For
So marching
band.
band season's over, however, once we are in November, the kids start rehearsing for holiday ensemble. They will be at the tree lighting on Sunday, if anyone's gonna be there. We had several of our students audition and were accepted into the Sussex County Honors Band. That occurred last week or the week before. It was great. They have a choir. And next, they're gonna be auditioning for area. Hopefully, everyone who auditions will be accepted. And then after that, region. And the drum production opens on December 5th. It goes December 5th through December 8th. Come see Puffs. It's 7 years in a wizarding school. Everybody knows what this story is. And after that, we'll be starting auditions for the spring musical.
Very good. Thank you.
And my apologies to our student board representatives. I just talked to you, but it isn't on my agenda. So I promised them I need to move them up in my superintendent's report so that they get a chance to go before I do. So I don't steal any of their thunder. And I just had that conversation with them. So ladies, let's turn it over to you so you can give the board an update on the student reports.
Okay, so we have a decent amount of news on the sports teams. Esports competed this past weekend in the state championships and placed second. Miles Arn placed second as an individual in the esports state competition. The boys soccer finished their season having played the first round of the state tournament, and it's the best boys soccer team in many years.
Yay.
Competition cheer, which I am in, placed second at the Voorhees cheer competition this past weekend.
Congrats.
We've been working very hard with that. And then today starts basketball tryouts, wrestling tryouts, bowling practice, and ice hockey practice. And lastly, the 2024 to 2025 Pass It Along Scholar Athlete is Kelsey Weber.
Yay.
Also, I am part of the production of Puffs for drama. It's a very fun show. I would definitely recommend coming to see it if you get the chance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so today was the third week of our second marking period. Today we had Timothy Shoemaker come in, and Municipal Alliance funded 2 presentations. The 8th and 9th graders had a presentation about cybersecurity, and the 10th through 12th graders sat through a presentation about the harms of vaping. They were good presentations. I personally enjoyed the one that we sat through. We have a new psych teacher. She is replacing Mrs. Martello, and her name is Mrs. D'Amato. The culinary had their Friendsgiving last week. Share the Keys happened at 7 o'clock today, and blood drive will be happening December 12th, I believe. me if I'm wrong, December 12th. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Congratulations to all of our fall sports teams who wrapped up their seasons, our cheer program. And again, if you have an opportunity to get out and see the fall drama production, we'd love to see that audience full. It usually is you guys do a tremendous job. And thank you to our parent group, our boosters for our drama program who go above and beyond on a regular basis as well. So ladies, thank you for your report. I made my notes already so that I get you moved into my agenda, so I can't forget you moving forward. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I do not have anybody listed under public comments. So is there anybody who'd like to speak? Is here? No? Okay. We will move on.
Come on, Jen.
Can I please have a motion to move 11 through 16I? That will take us right to the information about the referendum.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
11A to 16I.
Okay, we can open it up to discussion. 11 through 16I.
No discussion for me, but just a comment. I just want to thank Jamie Douglas for that very generous donation. She runs the Just Driven Athletics and Training. So thank you very much, Jamie. It is much needed, much appreciated.
Ditto.
I'd like to reiterate that. Jamie is an incredible human and really dedicated to all the kids in our district. So
for sure.
Really appreciated.
Any more discussion? Okay, hearing none, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Falcone?
Yes.
Mr. DiStefano?
Yes.
Dr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Citrich is absent. Ms. Goulart?
Yes.
Mr. Chaffee?
Yes.
Mr. Francis?
Yes.
Ms. Polachina? Yes, thank you. Ms. Falcone Schubert?
Yes. Can I have a motion to move 16I through the rest of the agenda? That would be 16I through 17.
16I. You want to move
The whole
16I
thing.
and co-op?
Yeah. If anybody wants to talk about the referendum.
Yeah, I will.
You need a motion? I'll make it.
Second.
It was a really thick agenda tonight.
So in our agenda, 16I is a culmination of a lot of components tied to our referendum. So first, let me say, again, a public thank you to the taxpayers of Hopatcong, to our Board of Education, to our mayor and council and our community organizations that took the time to understand the referendum, what it entailed, and whether you voted yes or no. The number of votes on the referendum was really, as a former history teacher, was really great to see. We had a number of opportunities to have public sessions, met with a seniors group to talk a lot about the referendum and what it entailed. Obviously, I'm very pleased to say that the referendum passed with 68.3% of voters saying, yes, we want to move forward with this project. We have already begun tonight with this vote on 16I to move forward with the bonding process. So our plan is to, working with our bond attorneys, our financial advisor who will be responsible for helping to sell the bonds, that we will be noticing and advertising the sale of the bonds here in the next couple of days, that the bonds will go on sale through a bonding process or a bidding process on December 10th, and we anticipate closing on the bonds, the sale of the bonds, on December 20th. The reason for that timeline, as I explained to the board, any bonds that are sold before January 1st means that we will actually get our state aid payment, the state's portion of their contribution on those bonds in our next budget year. Had the bonds been sold on January 1st or later, it would have taken 2 more budget years for the state to make its payment contribution. So I want to thank our attorneys at Porzio, our attorneys at McMinnon, Scotland, and Bauman, who are our bond counsel, Phoenix Advisors, who is helping us with the bond sale. They have worked tirelessly over these last week and a half, 2 weeks, to move this process along smartly and quickly. So tonight, you'll see the resolution to approve the bond sale. And if you look at it, it's probably 15 pages in length. It's the largest resolution I've ever had, but legally, we're required to put forward the sample bond forms, the sample certificates, the maturity dates, and all of those things that go forward with the process. That's what you'll be voting on this evening on 16I. And then 17 is the regular co-op contract awards and things of that nature. I know we talked about the contract this evening. Are there any other questions associated with 16I that I can make sure I answer for any of you? Okay.
Any discussion on 17, 16I or 17?
Entry only, huh? Entry only, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was going to. Yeah.
And
He
before,
keeps thanking everyone else, but
Yeah.
everybody should really thank Jeff.
Thank you.
For keeping us informed.
Yes.
And doing all the hard work.
Yeah.
I do want to, I do appreciate that. I do want to point out that Brian did catch one error, and I just want to make the correction before we vote. Page 10 on your agenda, section 1, the amount.
300.
Yes, it should be 9,897,300 of the 9,897,300 of bonds are eligible and were approved by the voters. There's a missing $300 there.
I was wondering about that, but I thought there was some good reason for it.
Yeah, it looks like a missing finger on the keyboard.
Does this have details as far as like the minimum purchase amount for the public?
It does. So I want to be careful what I say publicly, because I don't want my words to be construed as an offer to buy bonds. But in all sincerity, if you are interested in participating in the purchase of the bonds, there is a link in this resolution that will take you to a website called MuniHub that outlines the sale, the online bidding process. This will be a sale to institutional investors. However, individuals will be able to purchase bonds in a quantity of $5,000 increments. So all of that is outlined in this resolution and is available for individuals through the prospectus and the letter of offering. How's that sound?
Great offset to your tax increase, that's all I'll say.
Yeah, no, it is fantastic. The fact that the state is going to contribute up to 40% of these costs, that is huge for us. And I think our taxpayers recognize that in an era where we are losing state funding, to get the state to contribute towards the cost of these much needed projects is huge for us as well. So I'll turn it back to you. I've got the resolution. Let me just make sure.
Fix 16.
Yep, I fixed 16I, and I just got to get to my roll call sheet.
I just thought it was fantastic.
Okay, we are ready.
All right, 16I and 17. Mr. Falcone?
Yes.
Mr. DiStefano?
17, I vote present. 16, I vote yes.
16I, yes. 17, present. Thank you, sir. Dr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Citrich is absent. Ms. Goulan?
Yes to 16 and abstain on the 17.
Thank you. Mr. Chaffee?
Yes, on both.
Mr. Francis?
Yes, on both.
Ms. Polachina? Yes, thank you. And Ms. Falcone Schubert?
Yes. Okay, we will end with board member comments if anyone would like to make any.
Okay.
just want to take the opportunity to thank the public for voting on the referendum, especially those of you who voted yes.
Specifically.
Specifically. This means that we can finally move forward, working towards making our schools more safe, more sustainable, and a more conductive learning environment for our students. I want to give my very heartfelt thanks to our superintendent, Jeff. None of this could have been done without him. And to my fellow board members who went out there and spoke the truth and made sure everybody got the facts about this referendum. That was extremely important, was to make sure that the public knew the facts and that we countered misinformation. This success is a testament to the strength of our community, to our board, to our schools, and to everybody who works in this district. Thank you again for all your support and trust. And please, let's keep this momentum going so that we can continue to make these schools better.
Great, thank you.
How do I follow that?
I was gonna say.
Good job.
I would love to reiterate that. And I'm really excited for the future for all of the kids in our district. I think this is a huge step, so keep it rolling.
Regardless, thank you for everyone that did vote, and thank you to the past Board of Education members that came out to help and drive what we're trying to get out there. And thank you for the endless people that listen to me talk about, which the reasons for, to vote. So, happy Thanksgiving.
Me. I'll be short. I think my wife found a house in Hopatcong 15 years ago by accident, and we bought it and we moved here. And it's a beautiful town. It really is. There's so many nice things in town. And being part of the board for the last 7 years, watching the way things have changed and how things are evolving, it's cool. So thank you for everybody that's been part of that and invested their time in it. And I think there's a lot of good stuff that's going to happen going forward in Hopatcong. I'm proud to be part of it.
I'd like to reiterate what Mr. Clappy mentioned before, which is clearly the case. 68% is amazing, quite honestly. 68% of the voters voted yes for the referendum. I have one statement about our local Rotary Club, because I'm a member of the Rotary Club. Every year we have a Christmas party for special needs children, and our community, our school is sending 13 of their students to the party, which is great. Also their parents and their siblings, and each one of them get a present. It's amazing. Nice. So it's not a pat on my own back, but they're on their backs, the Rotary Club members who fund this, and they fund it through basically chances and raffles and all kinds of things. So I want to. The kids deserve it. We do it with the whole community. It's not just the Hopatcong schools. It's also Roxbury and Mount Arlington and the rest. So I just wanted to mention that, and also happy holidays. Have a great Turkey Day.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a happy and safe, if you're traveling, Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you for coming out.
I just wanted to congratulate Jen, Jana, and Jay, Jace, on being reelected to the Board of Education. I'm looking forward to working with you guys for another 3 years, well, as long as I'm here. And congrats to Joe for winning the town council seat.
Oh, yeah, right. There you go.
There's like a lot of good forward momentum, and that's what we need to keep rolling with. And with that said, thank you to the town for saying yes. We needed this, and we thank you for trusting us, and it's going to be our mission to keep everybody informed about what's going on. It didn't stop with the vote. Jeff has been in meetings all week, and they continue, and we'll do our best to kind of put it out there, what's going on, in simplest terms. That's what I like, simple terms, so you can understand, what's happening during the process. And even though you might not see the construction happening, just yet, there's a lot of things that lead up to that. So we will definitely continue to keep you informed. There is a tab underneath the Board of Ed. It says referendum. We'll continue to update that. and I'll do all my normal postings. And I just want to, again, thank everybody here for all of your help and support. Jeff for coming up with this great big idea. And I wish everybody a blessed Thanksgiving. Spend it with your loved ones and have a great time and enjoy a big plate of food. All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned.
Oh, yeah.